there. Okay, this is going to be a brief overview of the digital portion of the personal finance course. Everyone, like I said in the email, should have this loaded into your homepage. If you don't see the product right here, or you have other books that you're working with, you can toggle between those right there. But I've loaded it to all of your pages unless you're new to the school, and then in that case, I would need an email address for you. Um, okay, so here's our instructor homepage. Most of you, I think, have probably used Cengage now for accounting before or tax. This is a lot different than that, but it's very easy to use. And again, this is just going to be a brief overview, and then we can get into more details either in person or via the meeting in January. So here's my book right here, and then my MindTap portal. Now, I just simply click create a course, and the course, unlike Cengage now, if that's what you're used to, it self-populates. So I'm going to just say create a course, go to continue. I'm going to give my course a name. I'm just going to say Tiefin Demo Chafee. Students get 2 weeks of free access, just like they do with Cengage now or any of the other products from the start date of the course. So I'm just going to create a generic course answering all of these questions here, and I'm going to say create a course. Now, like I said, unlike Cengage now, the course pre-populates. So we give you a ton of content, and then we leave it in your hands to customize or to guide us to help you customize it. This takes a second when we do it this first time. Here's our course information page. So the student instructions, again, this is something I'll go over more in person. Students would need instructions to get into the course if you decide to not integrate the course into Canvas. It can be integrated, and that's something we can go over in January. But in the meantime, you can begin to build a course or create your course through the instructor account, because essentially you would customize it here and then pull it over. So I have created my course right here. I'm going to click right into it so that I can give you a brief tour of what this looks like. Everything that you do see within the course is going to be completely customizable. Every single thing, the words, the start dates, due dates, etc. This is an at a glance of everything. The student's version of MindTap looks the same, except that their class average is just their own average. They have the ability to view everything through this learning path here, which I'll show you. And they can also go to the calendar view, wherein when you populate activities, they're able to click in any given week and see what's due and click into those activities via the calendar view. I prefer to not have this on my homepage here because I like this to expand and work from a bigger plane. So if you're like me, you would click your name up here, course settings, dashboard, and click this off right there. And then we go to save. I always have the ability to look at my gradebook down here on the bottom through the Progress app. That's where we can find the roster as students populate into the course. We can manipulate grades and due dates for individual students, etc., through this Progress app. And again, that's if you don't integrate it. We can talk about the integration options later. But again, you can get started on customizing right through here if you'd like to. And then come with questions that you might have in January. Okay. So once again, every single thing you see is going to be customizable. So just know that going into it. If I expand any chapter here, I then have a very uniform look of content. So students will expect to see the same content for the most part throughout the book. I first have an engagement activity. It's low stakes. We already weight this at 1 point, only because generally speaking, this would be something that might be a pre-lecture or just a participation kind of grade. Go in, get your feet wet with the concept of this chapter. Again, if it says to count towards grade, I can modify that to practice. Nothing in here has a start and end date yet. So we have given you all the content and we leave it up to you to customize that. I can expand here to read the definition. If I were to put my start and end date here, that would also populate right here. And I'll show you how to do all those things in just a second. So then we have our chapter ebook. The ebook is interactive. Students might find graphs within it, videos. Students can take notes and highlights within the ebook. A lot of your students will opt to just access MindTap without the hard copy of the book. And in that case, they can treat it just like a normal textbook. So we can actually add highlights and notes, color coordinated. If I add a note and a highlight, those all save to the text automatically. I can change font sizes, bookmark pages, print pages, and I can even have the book read to me using this Read Speaker. As I create notes and highlights, those are all housed on this side right here called the Study Hub. We organize students' notes and highlights by chapter, and bookmarks are by chapter. They can print them from here, but like they can create personalized study guides based upon those notes and highlights. So that is the ebook here, but we do have parsed off the 6 activities that pertain to the ebook. So these are just concept quizzes. Their practice, their participation will get them 2 points, but they're not essentially a graded activity. So there's several concept clips in this one here. We have our 3 folders then: video review, practice, and then assignments for the chapter. So we can expand those. Again, more concept clips. Those are the ones that are referred to within the chapter. We have a practice assignment, which is our end of chapter homework. And then we have a graded assignment. Let's see, we have a graded assignment here, and then an application assignment, or sometimes a brief hypothetical. Again, all the points, values, and everything is customizable. And I can do that now by clicking my edit tab here. My edit tab is when I have the ability to edit anything I want to or hide. If I'm not even covering a chapter, I can hide it. If there's something I don't like, or maybe I just want to show students in class, I don't want them to view it through here, I can hide it just simply by clicking that hide tab right here. I can also edit. So depending on the type of assignment it is, this is where I would add my actual available date and due date. I can reorder things, I can add to the description, but depending on what type of assignment is, my options will be different. This one here, I can click into a practice activity rather than account towards grade if I wanted to. Some options for assignments are more robust. And others, even though that one didn't look very robust, there is other ways to modify that content, which is through, we call it an Applia assignment because it comes from our Applia homework engine. So the Applia assignment tab is right here. So there's a lot of customization we can do through that. If there's some specific way we wanted to modify, just for example, even the point values, those are done through this app here. Again, something we could get into in a lot more depth in January. If you do have questions, though, if you begin to work through this beforehand and those come up, I'm more than happy to address anything with you to get you started. So if you are up and running in the next couple of weeks, that is absolutely fine. Again, I can customize or add my start and end dates wherever I choose to do so. I can also, because there is a lot of work here. So for instance, say my chapter 2, I want everything to open at the same time and close at the same time. I can click on this tab here. That enacts my batch action ability. So I can actually edit the dates for multiple assignments just through that batch action tab. I can also modify settings through this tab as well, or I can hide multiple assignments at the same time. So for instance, if I don't like, I don't know, one of the end of chapter assignment within each chapter, I can go through, click that assignment tab on each chapter and batch action it all at one time. There is a lot of content here again. We also have a department, or I have a gal that I work with. She's our digital solutions specialist. And what she does is she works with me and all my instructors to help customize their courses. So if you were to go through chapter 1 or chapter 2 and decide that, this is exactly the way I like it, this is how I want it, et cetera, she can help you customize the rest based upon your instruction and your syllabus, et cetera. So don't feel daunted by the amount of work that this all is. We will walk you through the customization process and really help you to do it from the back end, again, based upon your direction. So let's see if I've missed anything here. No, everything is customizable. Like I said, your job would be to add start and end dates to anything. If there's content that you want to delete, so for instance, you can actually click into any of these items here and take them as a student would. So you can click in, it'll walk you right through a student. This is going to show me how the student would see it. You can go in, like I said, you can go into any assignment and do those activities. If you're within an assignment and you don't like some of what you're seeing, for example, maybe there are questions that you don't use or you want to add to the questions, that's something I can assist you with. So again, as questions come up, let me know, because again, everything is completely customizable. If there's not enough content in here for you, you can actually add more. You can add midterms, you can add chapter tests, quizzes, etc., all based upon our homework and test banks, which are housed within the system. So I don't want to get too far ahead of my skis here, so I'm not going to get too much into how you would do that, let me know what your needs are as you work through this, and I will show you how to do that. But again, we have all of our test banks, all of the uh, homework banks are all housed within this. Some of them are already assigned within chapters, but much is not. So you can actually still add activities. If you don't use the Campus LMS or Canvas, you can actually add your own content through this as well. So if I go to add an activity, I can add anything from my Google Drive. I can add a YouTube video that I may use, my Microsoft OneDrive as well. So again, lots of ability to move things around and utilize them to meet your course customization needs. On the right side of the page, we have what we call MindTap apps. If you do add content, your content would house right here. Students can create notes and highlights, and those flow into Evernote if they use that. RSS feeds link to use if you'd like to. A glossary in here. Again, this Applia insignia and the Cengage Now insignia, those are actually where the content lives, or like I said, those homework and test banks. So that's something we can get into later. Students have access to a school or career portfolio that they would have access to after the course is over with no charge. The full ebook is right here. So if you even wanted to go in and utilize the ebook, you could do so right here. Obviously, we section it off into chapters in the learning path, but it is right here. There's that study hub. The Read Speaker, where students can actually manipulate the speed of the reading and change to a male or female voice right here, if they're so inclined. And then we have flashcards. There are flashcards per each chapter. Flashcards can be printed. Students can add to their own content to the flashcards. They're very customizable. Like I think I've said that word a lot. But it all is. And then the Progress app, which is the traditional grade book, but lots of analytics that you could pull up from here in reports. You can see where students are trending as far as weaknesses or strengths within the class. So this is MindTap. This is, again, a very brief 10-minute overview. You are more than welcome to dig in and begin to get started. If you have questions about how this might fit with your syllabus, again, if you want to add more content, if you wanted to add a chapter 1, 2, and 3 test and put it right here, there is a way to do that. Very simple and easy. You could insert midterms, finals, etc. So if you have any questions, again, let me know. Otherwise, I look forward to hearing from you. If you don't have an account, please let me know that as well so we can make sure you're all set up.